Michael McLeod's lawyer gave his full closing argument in the 2018 Team Canada SA trial. This is part 1 of my day 1 recap of the closing arguments. If you're new here, make sure you follow so you don't miss anything in this trial. I'll be using CBC's daily live recaps for all of these arguments. His lawyer started off the morning saying, quote, "This is a case where the defense has an embarrassment of riches, a cornucopia of compelling credibility and reliability concerns in EM's testimony. This case is all about consents, and the onus is on the Crown to prove the allegations. There's a, quote, innocent explanation to explain EM's fabrication of what happened." He then went on to say, quote, "It was EM who chose to abandon restraint, and she was a willing participant in the drinking and the dancing and the actions in the hotel room. She may not have initially planned a night like this, but her, quote, inhibitions were lowered and her sexual interest was heightened. As sobriety returns, regret comes, and so does, quote, concern for personal reputation." The lawyer then went on to say that EM told her mom a, quote, white lie that snowballed into a criminal investigation because she regretted drinking too much, cheated on her boyfriend, and was, quote, sexually adventurous with a group of men. He then went on to say she wants people to see her as a victim rather than a person who made personal choices. As her drunkenness diminished, she might not have wanted to acknowledge to others or to herself that she had just been sexually adventurous with multiple men in a hotel room that she just met that night. He then went on to say that EM told the police that she was drunk, but in her civil lawsuit she says that she was, quote, terrified. He then went on to say that the men didn't know about the lawsuit until after it was settled and appeared in the news, and he says that, quote, burdened the defense side with a, quote, one-sided narrative for years. He then went on to say that EM takes, quote, no personal responsibility for her actions and defaults to, quote, claims of drunkenness and fear as justification for all those actions. She is not an honest or reliable witness and has, quote, motive to fabricate. The lawyer then reminded the judge that Tyler Steenberg and Brett Howden and Carter Hart all testified that EM was asking the men to have sex with her and egging them on. He then went on to say, quote, when you're terrified, you do the minimum to avoid the harm. You give in to the demands. It's preposterous to say that, quote, I came up with the consent that to get out of the room, I will invite everyone to have sex with me. He then went on to say, quote, if she were scared in the room and that was the real reason for her participation in the sexual act, she would have said so. She didn't say that she was scared or afraid because she was not scared or afraid. He then went on to argue that victims of traumatic events, quote, may not have a complete and detailed memory of the event, but they have a, quote, overriding and enduring memory of the thing that is frightening. He then went on to say that the fact that EM testified it took, quote, years to process the event is not believable. Quote, it doesn't take years to process that you were scared. He then went on to say that there's nothing to suggest that EM was actually threatened or felt threatened and couldn't leave the hotel. He then went on to say that EM testified about what he calls, quote, playful slapping of her buttocks whenever she was on the bedsheet on the floor performing oral on Dylan Dubé, and about men taking turns smacking her butt hard while she was performing oral on McLeod. He then went on to say that he doesn't accept that happened, but even if it did, EM testified that she told the men it hurt and they stopped. Quote, she said no and it stopped.